Welcome back to our new series on undesigned coincidences in the Bible. Suppose one night you're walking home on the sidewalk with a group of friends, and it starts to drizzle. As you're coming to an intersection, suddenly you see a crash between two cars driving the intersection, a red Corvette and a white Cadillac. When the police arrive, they ask you and each of your friends for your account separately of what you saw. Each of you might remember slightly different details about the event. Perhaps you remember that the two cars were a Corvette and a Cadillac, whereas one of your friends mentioned to the police about the color of the cars but didn't mention the make or model. Perhaps another friend remembered that the cars were skidding on the wet street, while another friend remembered about the behavior of the drivers afterward. The police and lawyers will put all these statements and details together and get a more accurate picture of what actually happened. And they can also make a case for whether you're giving a truthful account based on how the details you relate fit with the details that your friend relates. For example, the California Criminal Jury Instructions says, "Do not automatically reject testimony just because of inconsistencies or conflicts. Consider whether the differences are important or not. People sometimes honestly forget things or make mistakes about what they remember. Also, two people may witness the same event, yet see or hear it differently." These same principles apply to ancient historical events recorded by eyewitnesses and ancient historians. If we can find multiple accounts of the same event, we can compare the discrepancies between them and check for whether the variations are reconcilable or not. There are several possibilities when we compare different historical accounts or eyewitness testimony about events. If the accounts are extremely similar in all details, it is possible that they had a common source, or that the witnesses were colluding together, agreeing beforehand to synchronize and share the same details about the story. If the accounts have differences, that could represent multiple eyewitness accounts who remembered different details and emphases of the event, or it could represent embellishment in the details from authors who are exaggerating or fictionalizing in their accounts. To figure this out, we can look at how plausibly the differences can be harmonized. If we could find some undesigned coincidences between the accounts, that makes it increasingly likely that both accounts are eyewitness accounts. As Dr. Lydia McGrew defines it, an undesigned coincidence is a notable connection between two or more accounts or texts that doesn't seem to have been planned by the person or people giving the accounts. Despite their apparent independence, the items fit together like pieces of a puzzle. Let's discuss the historical reliability of the New Testament of the Bible, and in particular, let's look at some apparent undesigned coincidences. I'll be borrowing most of this content from Dr. Lydia McGrew's excellent book, Hidden in Plain View. I highly recommend this book, and I think you should all get a copy and read it. You'll get so much more out of reading the book than from this brief video summary. She also got a lot of her ideas from older authors such as William Paley and John Blunt. It's important that these would have a casual, in-passing, subtle character to them, rather than the author explicitly trying to make the connection between the details. If the connections are subtle, that's the type of connection we would see between accurate and honest eyewitnesses. Subtle, incidental interlocking is not the sort of thing that two authors colluding together would have done, or one author trying to embellish another's account, because in that sort of situation where authors were trying to exaggerate or trick people, they would have made the connection between the facts more obvious. If it were too subtle, most people would miss it. So let's discuss some of these undesigned coincidences that McGrew lists. She first covers where the synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, explain John, and then vice versa. And I'll be using the New American Standard Bible 1995 unless otherwise shown. See the supplement for more links and videos of Dr. McGrew explaining this topic.